Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Nuke Shot Media for round 3 of the NES Group 3 Intercontinental Tour here at Lago Maggiore. I'm your commentator for today, as always, Nuke Shot Zokio. Nice having you guys joining us here on the Italian-Swiss border here in the north of Italy. Decent turnout today. Should be a decent race. Still got James on the way, so qualifying is a little bit delayed. We're also switching the format on that because of the settings, but it's still going to be 5 minutes. Hello, Myth in the chat. That's how you pronounce it. It's the fancier way that I pronounce it, at least. It's probably not accurate. Apologies to all of that instantly. Oh well. Let's see who we have here on the grid. We've got Joe the Fireback, of course, our lobby host. Many thanks to him. Myth, making their debut for NSR. That's also them in the chat. Houdini, back again, as is Tomsoft. Rounded, and GTO. This is about to be a little bit chaotic. Well, debut with this particular season, at least, Myth. Of course, he did compete in NES Season 5 for a couple rounds. Well, 1 or 2, I can't remember exactly. Hello to Houdini in the chat. Again, nice having you here. This is going to be, again, as I said, a little bit more chaotic than normal. Apologies if I'm a bit quiet while I try and figure this out. Always good fun. Oh, we've got more people in the chat. Hello to James! Nice having you here with us. Same with Tomsoft. Okay. I'll get into more of the technical stuff in a bit. Oh great, we've already got someone driving out. Oh, actually. So, everyone, back into the pits. Qualifying will be beginning once this timer reaches 5 minutes, and then we go to 10 minutes on that marker. AC in the chat, I'm guessing that's Armored Core. What do you mean green is bad? Green is not bad. You can pipe down with your anti-green ideology. It is the best colour. People still registering their setups. That's Joe for Team Simpact Racing, our current championship leader. This is actually a good opportunity to go through the championship standings. Joe currently leads it on 57 points. Closest challenger at the moment is actually GTO for Nukeshot on 38 points. Closely followed by Houdini, who is on 36. And then Tomsoft, who won last time out, but that was their first race of the season. They are in 4th on 30 points. ART James, who isn't here yet but is on their way. It's their fault for the qualifying mishaps and such. Still complaining about green in chat. Everyone is fantastic. Oh, that's not Armored Core. You are. Wait, who's this other AC then? What on earth is going on there? Anyway, James is in 5th. They're on 26 points. Very closely behind is Poctavian on 25 points, but they are not here today, unfortunately. Rotary, also not able to be here today. They were only here at round 1. 18 points for them at the moment. And Rounded, otherwise known as Taters, there they are. They're also in 7th, tied on 18 points. So all they have to do really is finish, and they move up from last to, at very least, second to last in the championship. Oh wow, actually, this is fantastic. We've got 9 people in the live chat at the moment. That's going to go down. I instantly know that. But thank you all so much for tuning in as we're about to get underway. Most of you are going to be the drivers, but there's a few different ones as well. AC, as we mentioned. Be sure to leave a like if you, well, I say enjoying, not here just yet, but if you are about to enjoy the stream, please leave a like. Leave a like anyway. Do that. Consider subscribing to catch the rest of the series. For those that are only catching the live streams and not privy to what goes on in the Discord chat, we were meant to be racing last week here. However, that race got pushed back a week because of the Indy 500. So everyone was watching that instead. Technical circuit, slow speed first sector, mid speed second, high speed third, and again sort of a mid to high. Some very tricky and very iconic corners on the track map. We'll get into those in a bit more time. Here we go then. Outlaps are going to be starting right now. And it's Houdini who takes the lead going out the pits in a very quick reaction from the Martini Racing team driver as Tomsoft makes their way up into second place. Looking to the inside goes the Joe 2 guy, even though that's not the account he's on. Shut up me. Joe of the Fire. Witty Professor. Oh, with nearly 3 wide going through turn 4. That was incredible. These guys will be searching for not only just space on the track, but also just to warm the tyres up. It's quite a long lap around this circuit. We're looking sub 2 minutes, around 154s for some of the faster guys around here. Could see even faster than that. I think we saw a 153 in practice. Already clipping the grass in place, there's some sparks being thrown up. It's going to be Joe currently leading them. There you see Tom Soft in second, Houdini third. All trying to space out the two Porsches. There you see the mint machine of GTO, followed by the bright purplish pink of Myth. He's backing up. Hold on, are we missing someone? There's 6 cars on the track. I swore there were 7 earlier. Oh, maybe it's just my memory failing me. Here we go then, going on board with Joe of the Fire for what will be the first lap of the qualifying session. Making his way towards the start-finish line to start a lap here at the Lago Maggiore circuit. The full GP layout, braking into turn 1. You'll look for the second of the 3 markers for that. Keeping it nice and tucked into the inside for the hairpin at turn 2. Turn 3 and 4. Have to take it somewhat together. Compromise turn 3 for a better exit through turn 4, as you've got a nice bit of straight leading into the Val de Goma, the rubber valley as we've known it in the past. Real tyre shredder this one. You'll see a lot of marbles build up on the outside throughout the race. Hence the name. Uphill. Now approaching the S's. Very nicely done by Joe. And onto the back straight. It'll be interesting to see comparisons between the cars here. Through the dipper. And then this very heavily banked corner. Real roller coaster section of the circuit. Oh, kick of oversteer for Joe. As the weight transfer kicks in on exit. That will have cost him some time. Couple flat out kinks towards the next section. Oh, he's on the grass again. This has not been a clean lap. And he's just missed the apex of this final sort of sector of the lap. 2 more corners to go, just this long one. And then towards Vista Lago, named such because you can see the lake. Nicely done, using that extra tarmac from the other layout. And what's the time going to be? It's a 154.503, but it's a 154.082. That puts Tomsoft provisionally on pole. Here comes GTO, 156.592. Myth will be the next across the line. It's a 157.3. Houdini, 201.8. That's definitely not representative. And Rounded Potato with a 156.6. That's enough for 4th place at the moment. Some of these are getting quite close to each other though, which is a bit questionable. The 2 TSR cars of Tomsoft and Joe, quite close. Gotta be careful with Dirty Air, especially with that Subaru, that GT300 machine. Produces quite a lot of downforce, so gotta think the Dirty Air effect will be a decent bit more. They are purple. Going through that sector 2 marker is Joe. Ah. Before I forget. There we go. This will be everyone's last lap. Told you it was quite a long lap here. So Joe making the way through the final section. Last corner, Vista Lago. Just clipping the grass. There you see him with his Mario helmet. What's it going to be for Joe? It's provisional pole. And Tomsoft can't better it. Palms off doesn't improve. It's a 154.020 for Joe. Here comes GTO. An improvement again. 155.7. As both Houdini and Myth improve. Rounded back up to 4th. It was Houdini with a 156.0 and Myth with a 56.6. Okay. And everyone's parked up very nicely. Okay, so grid order. I'm gonna quickly type this out on Discord so it's easier for the likes of our lobby host. And I think we got a notification that James joined the lobby, was that? Yep. Where's the congratulations one? There you go. Well done, Joe. For those wanting to compete in future races, be sure to check out our Discord server that is linked in the description. And also, through all the chaos, we haven't actually managed to mention our sponsor for today's race, which is Toyota's Proctors. So thanks to them. Of course, unofficial sponsor this time. They're a circuit sponsor here. You'll see their logos quite a lot. As there's all sorts of chaos. So, James is here. There they are. They'll be having a bit of a warm-up. T7T's here. Hello. And no, they won't be last. Myth, that is. Because James missed out on qualifying, unfortunately. But they're here now. Car 95, the Ford GT. Great seeing James back once again. As I mentioned earlier, they are 5th in the standings. So they'll be looking to increase that margin. It should be an interesting circuit for car balance. Dependent on front and mid-engine, stuff like that. Okay, so I believe Joe is setting the grid, so everyone will re-enter the circuit. I think we should be good now. Ah. Okay then. Any predictions in the chat before we get this thing started? Got 7 cars here today. Again, thanks to our sponsor, Toyota's Proctors. And thanks to all of you. If you are enjoying the live stream so far, be sure to leave a like. consider subscribing to catch all the action here on Nukeshot Media for the remainder of the championship as it happens. Gonna check the schedule. Houdini's not on circuit yet. So just waiting on them. Up to 6 viewers, thank you very much for tuning in again. That makes it sound like it's the end. No, still going. Here we see James warming up that Ford GT. He told me in the party chat just before we got the live stream started that he hadn't done any practice either, so getting as much time in as he can now. Thankfully it's a circuit that's been in the Gran Turismo franchise for quite a while now, so most people are quite familiar with Lago Maggiore. And yes, Myth, I will continue to pronounce it like that. It's just force of habit. Houdini is on circuit now. Imagine pronouncing the circuit name wrong. Yeah, Tater's setup is working, that's always good. Looks like James is going to be starting this one on the mediums then. It'll be softs for Tom Soft, how appropriate. Softs also for Houdini. Same for Rounded. Joe, also on softs. Softs for Myth. And mediums for GTO. So GTO and James doing two different... only two on that medium strategy. We'll see how that works out for them. T17 in the chat wishing good luck to Tomsoft. Tomsoft also there in the chat saying he messed up Sector 1. Still, second place. Not a bad starting point from qualifying. We'll see how things go. Hopefully everyone's okay. Now, as soon as I say that, who's that that's gone barreling off to Narnia? Oh, it's James. Oh, hold on then. Haters. All this peasantry. Myth in chat has swapped to mediums apparently. Okay. Full heads. Okay, people are now debating tyre strategy. Houdini with a 0.5 second penalty. Hello, T17, again. It's going to become a recurring thing. Someone had an engine failure. What was all that smoke on the start-finish straight? Oh, it's Myth. Oh dear. I'm glancing between watching the live chat and what's going on track. I'll be paying more attention during the actual race, I promise. Brain failure, thanks. Oh dear. Are these peasants ready yet? Okay, I think everyone's now switched to the mediums at this point. Hold on. We've got medium. Okay, Houdini's on softs. They've got a death wish. Medium for Tom Soft, medium for Myth, medium for Rounded. Joe's also on softs again. So, okay. So Houdini and Joe are now the only ones on the alternate strategy. This is going to be interesting. We're going to have to wait until the grid to find out for certain. Is everyone actually ready now? Oh dear. This race is also brought to you by anonymous brand of orange juice. The beverage of choice here on Nuke Shop Media for today. The split tire strategy. I promise this race is going to start at some point. I don't know what's keeping everyone. Has there been some kind of... Has someone said that they're... like, not around or something now? Is it Joe that's gone AFK or something? Oh, okay, apparently we're not starting today. Well, apologies for that. This has been Nuke Shop Media. I hope you've enjoyed this qualifying session. Apparently we're not starting today. He lied. Please don't click off. It's just the kind of peasantry that happens in semi-casual league racing, folks. At least James is getting some more track time. Is this... This is deliberate, I bet. A conspiracy in the party chat just to get James some more track time. That's what's going on here. He's getting a lot of footage as well in that sort of very bright orange, almost sort of auto-backsy orange, I think I've described it before. Ford GT. Also the bright green on the aero parts. That's always very good to see. Plasma dynamics in effect. Good stuff once again with the orange juice. Guys, we're losing viewers. We're now down to 3, and it's all your fault. Oh, is that what they're doing? They're like driving between each other. Oh dear. Okay, good. Things are starting. At last. Thanks again to our sponsor for this one, Toyota's Proxys, the track sponsor. Here we go then. For round 3 of the NES Gr.3 Intercontinental Tour here at Lago Maggiore. It's Joe of the Fire on pole from Tomsoft, then GTO, Rounded Potato, Houdini Myers, Mythical Triangle, and James. We're about to go green here at Lago Maggiore. Green, 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 and the cars are off. Looked like a bit of a slow start from GTO, and indeed Houdini manages to make the overtake stick. Oh, running a little bit wide. A couple cars go off. I think that was Taters and perhaps Myth as well. Joe manages to retain the lead from the start from Tomsoft. Already a 1.5 second gap from the rest of the field. This is carnage up here. Look at this. Absolute mayhem for third. place back. Right cluster. And the battle for the lead as well. Tomsoff looking to the outside of the Valley of Rubber. Oh, he's nearly getting it done as well before all the marbles build up. Oh, bit of a slip from Joe. Side by side they go towards the S's, and I think Joe has to back out of that one. Oh, there's contact between the two teammates. Still side by side they run. No, not quite. Houdini seems to have solidified third place. GTO now the head of this particular pack. Myth has a 0.5 second penalty for corner cutting, more than likely. Generally what that seems to be. Battle for the lead. Will Joe make a move going into the banking? He does. And the switchback from Tomsoft. Fantastic driving by Tomsoft to set that one up. Side by side as well between Myth and Rounded, I believe that is, making their way through the two kinks into Sector 4. I believe the penalty line is it's either on the back straight or the start-finish straight. Remains to be seen. Myth goes a little bit wide, just out of rhythm. So Tomsoft retaining the lead now, 0.6 of a second ahead of Joe, our pole sitter. Houdini's actually managed to close up a bit on Joe. 0.9 of a second is that gap. Fourth place, looking to be under threat as Rounded looks to the inside. Bit of a send, manages to get it stopped very nicely. And up into fourth place goes Rounded. Now we've got some Porsche on Porsche battling between GTO and Myth. Myth still with that 0.5 second penalty looming, but sends it to the inside. Still side by side as they make their way through turn 4. Now, what's the preferred line here? It looks like Myth is going to just about do it unless GTO gets a cutback. Gets on the power just that little bit earlier. Seems that they have done a bit shaky from Myth on the uphill. Putting the power down, but Myth will have the inside for the S's. Myth up into 5th place. But here is the penalty line, then it is on the back straight. That'll be served, and that's probably going to drop them towards the clutches of James. It certainly allowed GTO to go past. And James not quite able to capitalise just yet, but staying with it. Oh, very nice use of track on the outside there by Myth. And he retakes the position. He's back up into 5th. Now, will he be able to make inroads to 4th place? Oh, it looked like GTO for a second was going to attempt to move. Not quite. Tomsoft, 2.1 second gap. Seems to be putting qualifying behind him very well. Is on the softs. Joe on the mediums. You can already see the difference in tyre wear. And Houdini also on the softs, so they're going to end up falling back a bit as this stint goes on. It's a very high degradation circuit, as you can already see the marbles being built up on the outside of some of these corners. Into Rubber Valley from the Gomma. That's going to continue getting worse and worse for marbles as this thing goes on. Tomsoft doing a decent job at managing the tyres, despite them wearing a bit faster. Purple through Sector 2. Things starting to get a little bit more spread out, as James is going to be in the slipstream of GTO. Don't quite think he'll be able to catch him before the banking. Indeed, not quite. As Myth has gone off and there's contact! Myth has gone off massively at the banking. What's happened here? We're going to have to go on board with this one. I think he just may have got on the power too early and ran wide into the gravel. Very easy done. Yeah, just carried too much speed. And in the panic, getting on the throttle, span it round. It's going to have to be a recovery job from there. 6 seconds back, and that's actually allowed James to capitalise. James is up into 5th. So they've got ahead of GTO after the two Porsches came together. Good stuff then by James. Rounded was also on the softs. And those are starting to, well, definitely look past their best. You can manage on worn tyres around here, but you will start paying for it very late on in the stint. Might be an extra pit stop for these soft runners. Remains to be seen how the strategy will play out. But in terms of weather, it's relatively cloudy at the moment. It's keeping the track temperature down. So it'll be a bit slippy. Not quite the optimum window. As someone has gone off massively, it's James at the S's. What has happened here? Was it just a massive snap? Oh! It was the grass in between the curb and the tarmac runoff. Just sent the car going one way. That's dropped James down to 7th. One of the many hazards here of this circuit. Just gotta refocus their rhythm. Tom Soft now completing lap 4, going on to lap 5. And as you can see, the tyres are around halfway worn. Well, if you're enjoying all the action so far, again, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing for the rest of the season. And thanks once again to our sponsor for this race, Toyo Tires Proxes. You can see some of their signage around the circuit. There you see in the background. Now into Rubber Valley. Nice line by Tom Soft. Plenty of torque from that Mercedes V8. 6.2 litres, I believe it is still, in that machine. That goes back to the SLS AMG. I believe it's the same race engine from all the way back then. So, very reliable unit. Houdini has absolutely cooked their front tyres. That Beetle is not being too kind to its Michelin rubber. Is it Michelin or is it Bridgestone? Oh, it's Bridgestone, I think, on that car. Going by the Potenza decals. Yeah, that's going to allow Rounder to catch up massively. Well, saying that, their own tyres aren't in that great of a shape. And especially through that banking corner, got to be really careful about not carrying too much speed for the tyres to take. GTO, through all the carnage of the start, now finds their way into 5th place. Myth and James, about 2.2 seconds separating them. James on the mediums, and Myth has burnt through their softs. They'll probably be into the pits. Houdini wisely makes that choice into the pits. There's a bit of grass being kicked up. It might just be netcode from Myth. So yeah, it looked completely worn fronts for Houdini's Beetle. Into the pits they go. Fresh rubber. Don't think they're going to fuel up. No. Trying to keep the car as light as possible. Well, that was a relatively quick turnover there by the team. Quite short pit window. So maybe the more aggressive extra stop strategy is going to pay off for them. They didn't lose a position to James, but GTO up into 4th. there's Myth Stop. They go on to the mediums. Change of strategy in that sense. Whereas Houdini went on to another set of softs. GTO still doing well on those mediums. Rounded could potentially be subject to a bit of an undercut from the soft runners behind. Would not be surprised if Rounded comes in at the end of this lap. Subaru's done a little bit better of a job managing its tyres compared to some of the others. Perhaps the extra downforce assisting with the lack of sliding. Joe, again, doing very well. Second place, 6.6 seconds, the gap between them and Tomsoft. And does Tomsoft go into the pits this time? They do. So our race leader into the pits. And the crew comes rushing out. And that is going to be Joe of the Fire into the lead on pit stops. As Rounded also goes in, indeed, so that's the last of those that started on softs. Now where's GTO in all this? They're coming across the start-finish line. Tomsoft is already out again. They went on to another set of softs. GTO's managed to vault their way up into third. And Rounded, it's going to be close with them and Houdini, is it? No. So Rounded loses out in the capital machine. James up into 6th, doing very well on those mediums, keeping them in check, and doing a lot better in terms of tyre wear than Joe is on the mediums. We've done the same amount of laps. Again, it could just be a setup thing with some of these guys. Some of them taking a bit more out of the tyre, extracting performance over longevity. 10 seconds, the gap between Joe and Tomsoft. Will Joe continue to stay out to get a bit more of a differential? I don't know. It's a 20-lap race. If the others stopped at lap 5, that is going to be 3 stops. If he pits now, he's probably going to get a 2-stop done, but oh, that was a bit close on pit entry with the white line. So yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-stop for Joe, 3-stop for most of the soft runners, unless they switched compound. Tomsoft retakes the lead. There is Joe's Subaru in the pits with the Witty Professor hashtag decals on the top. And GTO continues to stay out in that 3rd place with a hard-charging Houdini Myers looking to make their way past them into the first couple corners. Oh, little bit of onion barges between the two of them. Bit of a rivalry developing. Porsche versus Volkswagen. Houdini's got to remain patient, get the cutback that GTO can't fight back against on the worn tyres, and gets that one signed, sealed and delivered. Very nice move. Gotta think GTO will be into the pits at the end of this one. Rounded on the mediums this time. Car 7 making their way through the S's, just clipping the grass a little bit. We saw James do that earlier, and they've actually picked up a 1-second penalty for track limits somewhere along there. Let's see if we can catch it. It must have been just a bit before that then. Apologies for that. But yeah, 1 second, that's really severe. We haven't got contact penalties or any of that other stuff on, so that's the only thing it can be, is track limits. That's really going to hurt him. Tomsoft with that 6.2 litre V8 humming its way down the start-finish straight into turn 1. Metronomic. Joe P2, Houdini P3 after making that move on GTO. GTO is still out there. GTO's trying this on a one-stop? Is that what they're attempting here? I suppose at this stage you sort of have to if you've made it onto lap 9. Unless you go mediums again and then softs for the final stint. That's probably a more sensible option. Because you really shouldn't be out there with the tyres that worn at this stage. Someone else came into the pits there. I think it was James. Yep. James, fresh softs. Oh, okay, softs. So they are switching from the mediums to the softs. They got plenty of life out of those mediums. They were surviving quite well. And there you see Myth up ahead. They're on the mediums. And slightly worn at that. Oh, just clipping the grass on the outside. Got to be careful of that. This is definitely more of a game of strategy than on-track battling at this stage of the race. Plenty of dust being kicked up yet again. So a kick of oversteer maybe? Definitely kick of the dust on the exit there. That might be a track limit penalty for Tomsoft. I think the game has let them get away with that. Easy done. Again, just through the slow speed section, the torque of the Mercedes is very difficult to put down onto the tarmac. It's a very twitchy car. Through the sort of mid and high speed stuff, it's a lot better. GTO does indeed go into the pits this time. Now, what will they go for? 4 tyres. If they go for softs now, then they're definitely making one more stop after. If they go for mediums again, it's close to being able to make it to the end. Okay, they are going mediums again. It's an interesting call. I still think it's probably safer to pit for softs again towards the end, given the relatively short pit delta. But we'll see. It could just be me having a Ferrari moment, all on my own. Sparks being thrown up there by the Mercedes, and you also saw the side exhaust flames. Nicely done by Joe of the Fire through the banking. Houdini, they're coming towards the end of this stint on softs. Houdini, I think, is on for a 3-stop based on tyre wear. And if that's the case, then they should be in at the end of this lap, so they've split it up into equal 5 lap stints rather. They've got a decent gap over rounded, 9.7 seconds. Whether that's enough to keep them ahead if they pit now, not quite sure, but rounded is definitely cutting into that gap. Houdini seems to have stayed out according to the track map. GTO still going around on those mediums, and of course the tyre wear should be a little bit less severe as the fuel weight comes down, so perhaps that's also factoring into the thinking. Myth recently set their fastest personal best lap of 158.577. They've still got James for company. James on the softs. And again, really, really good tyre wear there on that Ford GT. That could just be James's driving style. We mentioned a couple races ago that he's got a wheel now, or at least a different wheel. I can't remember if it's his first wheel or not, but he's definitely seeming to have an advantage for tyre wear, and he seems to be catching Myth ever so slightly. Somewhat expected as Myth's tyres degrade away. The sun is setting, it would seem, judging by the lighting conditions. So the track temperature will be getting a bit colder. See how that factors in. Headlights are coming on as well for some of these cars. I think the closest on-track battle is 6th and 7th at this point. The gap's now down to 1.4 seconds. I think Myth may have had a bit of a twitchy exit out of the banking. Houdini goes into the pits. And that's one lap after I would have thought they'd go in. Unless they're thinking mediums to the end now, but from the tyre wear on that Volkswagen, it's be very difficult going 9 laps on mediums. They fuel up slightly. They are going on mediums. And that has allowed Rounded to get ahead of them. They're up into 3rd. Houdini now 4th, and a 0.5 second penalty. That's going to be track limits again. I don't think it's going to have been the pit exit line, because that's normally 3 seconds. Or 1.5. It's a lot more than 0.5 anyway. As James is all over the back of Myth at this stage. Looks like they've got superior traction, but the Porsche able to pull ahead on exit of turn 4 into Rubber Valley they go. James backs out of it. Myth runs wide. Can't quite make the apex, but again gets on the power nice and efficiently. James looking to the inside. Some juicy battling going on. Myth again, just a bit out of rhythm. Oh, gotta be careful. Our race leader into the pits, meanwhile, will stay on board with this on-track action. Now, James into the slipstream. Does Myth try and break it? It doesn't seem like it. He's gonna hold the racing line. James to the inside. Into the banking. And he's got it done. Let's see if we can catch that move again from an exterior shot. Here it is. So James down the inside. Was there a bit of contact? Ah, there was contact, but it was front to rear. So thankfully no one went spinning off in that. And now James is holding a bit of a gap. Now he's out of the dirty air. Now will Myth make their way into the pits this time? Indeed they do. Managed to get at least one call right today then. That's fantastic. Into the pits goes Myth. This will probably be for mediums again. Mediums to the end. Again, probably a bit early for softs. Yep. New mediums. And out the pits they go. They'll have clear air as the track goes into dusk. Joe, meanwhile, after the pit stop for Tomsoft, has vaulted into first place. They're definitely going to have one more stop to do, however. Those softs already looking quite worn. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in this lap. 9.2 seconds the gap between them and Tomsoft. Thanks once again for everyone who is watching. Be sure to leave a like if you're enjoying it. Consider subscribing for the rest of the season. And thanks once again to our sponsor for this race, Toyota's Proxes. Unofficial, of course. Into the pits goes Joe, and race leader Tom Soft once again. They're on mediums, so they should be okay to the end. Joe has gone for softs, so they'll have a bit of a pace advantage in terms of the tyre, but they've got to start making inroads quickly, because that tyre will burn off again. Third place, Rounded Taters. Very solid drive by them today. Keeping things together. I think they still have one more stop to do. Houdini and GTO quite close on the circuit. 1.5 seconds the gap there. Houdini's only... he's only pitted like a couple laps ago then. But GTO, personal best last time around, 156.9. Compared to a 157.3 for Houdini. So, paces with GTO at this stage. Making their way through the S's. And as they get closer, you got to think the size of the beetle, it's going to be punching quite a decent hole in the air for slipstream. Into the dipper they go. Now starting to see long trails of flame from the exhaust as the light is going away. One quarter of the race left to go then. It is Tom Soft with a 7.2 second lead, so that gap has come down. It's a 156.5 for Tom Soft last time around. 154.1 for Joe. That gap is definitely coming down. So Joe in push mode, rounded into the pits. Where will they filter out? I think it's going to be in 5th. Softs for them. They're going to be fast towards the end of this. James in the pits as well. They're probably also going to go for softs at this point. They're probably the car that's had the best tyre wear all day. I think Myth's going to get ahead of them. They fuel up. Just that little bit extra. There is Myth up ahead. Brand new softs for James. Mediums for Myth. Not too long ago they made their stop. 57.7 their last lap, so that's a personal best as the fuel load has come down. Very nice work there by Myth. But again, just got to be careful with James on those fresh softs. Tom Soft making their way through Vista Lago. A little bit of netcode lag still. That's still somewhat to be expected from the game. A shame, but it is what it is. 6.8 seconds the gap between Joe and Tom Soft. 154.8 last time for Joe. 155.2 for Tom Soft. So that's effectively 0.4 of a second taken out that time. Joe is catching. Will he catch enough by the time that his tyres are fried? Someone's gone off at the dipper. Who's that? It's I think it's James. James has gone off. Was it the same mistake that Myth did earlier? Was it carrying too much speed? Oh no! It was the car getting unstable on the anti-cuts. and oversteering. It's not the first time that we've seen that Ford GT be very unstable and oversteering like that. Recall we're seeing that in previous races. Third, fourth, and fifth are quite close together. And Houdini and GTO both have 0.5 second penalties. What's the tyre situation like for both of them? Houdini's more likely to go to the end. This is definitely going to bring Rounded back into the mix. Plenty of time gained through that. We've got a 3-car battle for the last step on the podium, it would seem. Or any extra pit stops. Rounded can definitely go to the end, based on their tyres. They're in the best possible position to make moves and benefit from this. Strategy hasn't quite worked out for GTO. Their mediums are well and truly cooked. This is what I was saying about whether they go into the pits again for softs, but I think the gap by this stage is going to be a bit too much. All depends. Do they go into the pits? No, they stay out. They're going to try and brave it out there. Rounded all over the back of them, like a rash, as they say in commentary. Look at this, to the inside of turn 3. Not quite. Trying to set up for turn 4, looking for the cutback. GTO was quite wide on exit of turn 3, so that compromised their line, but the Porsche seems a little bit stronger in the acceleration department. Sending it to the inside of Rubber Valley. Oh, was there a little bit of contact? There's definitely a jolt of some kind. But Rounded manages to get past. There's somewhat an inevitability. Here it was rather. Yeah, there was a little bit of contact. I think that was more netcode than anything. So a flash of the lights from GTO. And now, next target acquired will be Houdini. Going to be a bit trickier, given Houdini is a little bit better off for tyres. Still, Rounded should have an advantage. Darkness really setting in now at Lago Maggiore. Kick of oversteer for Rounded, I think, clipping the grass, and again sparks being thrown up as well by the cars, more visible in the darkness. Wind speed is a tailwind for the start-finish straight. For the back straight, it's a headwind. It's a relatively low speed, so it won't have much of an effect, as there's a massive send for Rounded, as that sent Houdini to Narnia. Somehow Houdini has held on to that, but wow, that was quite something. It's Rounded looking to set it up, can't quite there. We're going to see if we can quickly catch an onboard. This was quite the send of the century. Look at that. There was contact. Maybe let him back past. From that, side by side at the moment. We'll catch a replay of this shortly. To the inside of the S's. And Rounded gets it done. So here it was at Rubber Valley. It was an outside move. Bit of a twitch midway through the corner by Houdini. Rounded running onto the grass. Still with the inside line. .com. Gets that one done very nicely. As, oh, Houdini clips the gravel. It's still within slipstream range, but I really don't see how they can fight back against Rounded. GTO, also again, looking worse for wear on the tyres. So it just takes one slip up from the guys ahead, and he's in the money seat. The gap for the lead has gone down to 5 seconds, and I think we're actually at the point where there's a crossover point for the tyres. 154.9 for Joe, 155.3 for Tomsoft, so maybe not quite. Soft still with a bit of an advantage, but I think it is going to be too little too late, bar a mistake, for Joe to catch up. The battle for third, though. Houdini's still sliding about. With how twitchy that Volkswagen's been, I would honestly not be surprised if we see it slide more. And just missing that apex. Porsche seems a little bit less twitchy by comparison. Although this last 1.5 laps for GTO is going to be absolute suffering. He'd definitely have 5th place in the bag, given the gap to the car behind. Myth, 26 seconds. But he's not fighting for 6th or 5th, he's trying to improve his position. No, I think the tyres have gone now. Tenths are being dropped. The last lap was started a little while ago by Tomsoft. 4.7 the gap. That seems to have stabilised now. Scanning through the order, Rounded has done a fantastic job today. Tyres are looking in good shape. Fuel seems enough to get him home. Houdini has lost a lot of time. This is sort of what I was mentioning, that Volkswagen being a really slippy car compared to the Porsche, even though the Porsche's tyres are worse, in worse shape, it's able to catch up again due to mistakes from Houdini, and GTO just keeping the pressure on. There you see Houdini clipping the grass rather, again. You'd have to keep an eye on the mini-map, but Tomsoft making their way round the final sector of the circuit. Another fantastic display by them. 2 races in a row. Through Vista Lago for the last time, and it is going to be TSR Tomsoft taking the win here for round 3 of the Nukeshot Endurance Series Intercontinental Tour. Congratulations to them. Joe, our pole sitter, will get points for that, of course. Also has the fastest lap of the race, so even more extra points for him. But it's second today. Rounded looks to be holding on for third. But will Houdini be able to hold on for fourth? Oh, clipping the wall. And I think GTO as well. GTO's off. They managed to gather it back up. Both of these. Really on the ragged edge. Just one corner left for Houdini. It's a tricky one though. Just gotta coast it in. And I think he's done it. Yep, Houdini takes fourth. GTO fifth. Valiant effort to no avail in the end. Rounded did indeed take third at the end of that. Myth looks set to take home sixth. Had some trouble with the tyres today. I think most people did. Spinning across the line. And James, who actually had the best tyre wear of anyone throughout this, just not perhaps the strategy quite to execute on it. They take 7th. Congratulations once again to TomSoft, taking the race win here today at round 3, Lago Maggiore. We're going to have some post-race interviews shortly. I'll get all that set up. Here are the results. It is TomSoft indeed with the victory, Joe 2nd, Rounded Potato 3rd, Houdini 4th, GTO 5th, Myth 6th, and James in 7th. Right, let's get set up for the interviews. If I can find the right setting, of course, that's always useful. Voice chat settings, oh no, what just happened there? That was the wrong one. It's the mute all option, turn that off. There we go. Hello everyone! Everyone's favourite broadcaster here, once again.
I was already here.
Shut up, you. So we're after all that, we're here for post-race interviews. Is TomSoft around? Yes or no?
No, he won't be.
Okay then. Well then, we'll move on to second place Joe, who I'm guessing is here given the
I don't know if I have to ask him.
Yes, thank you very much again for hosting as well, Joe. Fastest lap in the end, as well as starting on pole position, but second place. What happened?
That was the base, really. At the start, I couldn't run mediums like TomSoft could because I couldn't make them last. I had to wait for some fuel to come off to do that. But I suppose if I'd started on the softs and then just suffered through a dead tyre lap at the end where there was nothing on the front, maybe it could have ended up different. I don't know.
Right,
The race was pretty clean other than that. I only made one mistake that lost a second.
I was going to say, it's still second place. I believe that's still you're going to be at the top of the championship standings with 2 races to go.
I think so, because TomSoft missed the first one, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Looking ahead then to Daytona, the road course, thoughts on that? Do you think it's going to suit your car?
I think it might a bit, yeah, because this car tends to be better at top speed stuff with low drag. It'll just suffer a bit getting onto those straights. So if I can stay in slipstream, if I'm behind TomSoft there, then it should be okay. And the higher speed corners, we know it's grippy.
Right, awesome. I look forward to seeing you there then, in a week's time. And it will be a week's time, this time, I promise.
He's promised.
Moving on to, is Rounded here? Yes or no? Taters, in other words?
In spirit. I think he's listening.
Okay, just in spirit. We'll move on to Houdini, who normally is here. Houdini, very tricky for tyres today. I noticed, especially with your car, it was very twitchy to drive. Your thoughts on an eventful race? Managed to get 4th in the end. Alright, it was a decent battle again with you and GTO. That seems to be becoming a regular rivalry on the circuit?
we are tied for P3 with this race in GTO.
In the championship, that is, I believe.
In the championship, yeah, and yeah, it was fun. So yeah, we did the thing. So there's exactly each other. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Great to hear from you again, and see you hopefully next week at Daytona.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Is that everyone that's in the party chat?
Yeah, James, rage quitted. He couldn't be bothered.
No, I saw they left the party chat. I don't think it was a rage quit, just probably busy with stuff.
Chat rage quit.
Yeah, something like that. It's still a decent pace by him. 57
Yeah, we said he had a couple of spins, and that was about it, really.
That was the thing. I think he could have got sixth if it wasn't for just that slight mistake. But oh well, there's still next time. And of course, the Ford GT should go quite well at Daytona. Yeah, that's a fair point. Maybe for the next tour that we do in like 5 years' time, we bring back Success Ballast. You do have an extra gear, indeed. Mm-hmm. Well, again, a fantastic race. Definitely more of a strategy race, a bit like Suzuka, minus the rain, of course. How many laps for Daytona? 22, that sounds about right. I'll conclude the stream there then. Thanks for everyone who's watched today for round 3 of the NES Group 3 Intercontinental Tour here at Lago Maggiore. Yes, I am still pronouncing it like that, Myth. If you want to subscribe, then please do so. You'll catch the live streams for future races. Indeed, as we make our way to America for that round at Daytona. Let's go away, as they say. No, stop, we're gonna get copyrighted. Oh no. There we go, you can do that probably and get away with it. This has been chaos. Less chaos than normal though, so that's been okay. We hope to see you there. Thanks again to our sponsor, unofficially, Toyota's Proxes, of which no car ran today. I was considering making that a regulation, but there's just a little bit of extra thing. Maybe in the future, we'll see. But actually, that's a fair point. If everyone ran Toyota's Proxes in this race, it would be a one-stop for everyone, easily. No. Even more free advertisement there. We'll have to get that one sorted out. Oh, pardon. Oh dear. Well, let's end this before we get shut down. Thanks again for everyone who's tuned in. Again, consider leaving a like and all that other stuff. This has been Zokyo from Nukeshot Media, signing out. We'll see you in a week's time.